What is mental health? Mental health issues relates to anxiety, depression, stress, and societal thoughts. Mental health is vital at every age of life, from childhood, adolescence through adulthood. Mental health is a term used describes how well the individual is adjusted to the demands and opportunities of life. Mental health affects according to our thinking, feeling, and act. It also helps determine how we handle stress relates to others and make choices. Mental health includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. Physical inactivity leads to disability and is one of the leading causes of chronic conditions such as hypertension, diabetes, and obesity, according to World Health Organization. Physical inactivity is common among Saudi females. Many variables are associated with different levels of mental health, including physical activity, according to Asana et al. In 2014. Improved physical activity can be useful in managing insomnia, depression, and attention. In female Saudi students, higher level of physical activity were associated with improved mental health, according to Asana et al. In 2014. People with low physical activity are the higher risk of exhibiting symptoms of depression and anxiety. Mood disorders are also associated with physical inactivity, and increased physical activity helps to improve mood disturbances. Studies have shown an inverse relationship between physical activity and depression, according to De Mello and et al. In the year 2013. Optimizing students' study burden by limiting the number of allowed registered courses to the optimal, and limiting other study burdens such as homeworks, quizzes, examinations, and projects to the optimal. Encouraging students to improve their dietary habits by relying nearly completely on home feeding and reducing the uptake of fast food to the minimal. Abdullah and et al. In 2012. Physical activity is defined as a bodily movement produced by the contraction of skeletal muscles that results in a substantial increase in caloric requirements over resting energy expenditure, according to Kasperson and et al. In the year 1985. National Alliance on Mental Health in the year 2020 reported that more than half of all people with mental health conditions started experiencing their problems during their teenage. These people end up dropping out of school due to overwhelming nature of the symptoms. Mental health disorders also contribute to the death of many people. Harris in the year 2018. Healthy body plus healthy mind, happy human. College is a stressful time of challenges and transitions. College students are balancing many demands between classroom expectations, work, extracurricular activities, social life, and more, home and in the year 2004. The risk of mental health issues is increased for college students, facing a great deal of stress, Kedison et al. In the year 2004. Always we teach to our students to be very happy, fun, have the students so that they can, stay away from the stress. Mental health is defined by the National Institute of Mental Health as the way one thinks, feels, and acts when coping with life and involves continued forward movement in the abilities to perform daily physical tasks and challenges at National Institute of Mental Health in the year 2007. American College Health Association 2009 specified that depression and anxiety continue to be two of the most common health problems that university students experience and are often experienced concurrently. Mental health is a critical problem of modern society. According to WHO, World Health Organization in the year 2014, describes mental health as a state of well-being in which every individual realizes his or her own potential, can cope with the normal stresses of life, can work productively and fruitfully, and is able to make contribution to her or his community. Mental health outcomes includes well-being and ill-being among adolescents, such as anxiety, depression, psychosocial well-being, and quality of life, which are referred to as the most common mental health outcomes in literature, and Bohr et al. 2014 and others. The common mental health problem among college students are depression, with prevalence rates in college students of 7% to 9%, and with approximately 11.9% of college students suffering from an anxiety disorders, Blanco and al. In 2008 and others. Main causes of mental illness: your genes and family history, your life experiences such as stress or a history of abuse, especially if that happened in the childhood. Always, we should love to our children, and especially the children with love and care. We should not keep too much stress on in the childhood. For example, for studies or maybe more, let them enjoy their life. Let them enjoy the nature, which is very important. They should have fun in the childhood so that they will not face these problems, and later on in the later age they get this all problems, mental health problems. Biological factors such as chemical imbalances in the brain, a traumatic brain injury, a mother's exposure to viruses or toxic chemicals while pregnant. So depression is the main causes. We are just seeing from the authors and previous reviews that depression is one of the main reasons in the college students. The 5 main warning signs of mental illness: excessive paranoia, worry or anxiety, long-lasting sadness or irritability, extreme changes in moods, social withdrawal, dramatic changes in eating or sleeping pattern. So these are the 5 very important signs. We have to diagnose early so that prevention is better than cure. You can give him preventive measures. Then you can see the benefits of exercises on mental health. Enormous. It's enormous benefits from exercise. So we should give advice to the students and our children that they should involve in some exercises, physical activity, to reduce the stress, increase energy levels, reduce depression, increase the mood, reduce anxiety, increase self-esteem, increase well-being, boost brain power, increase confidence, and improve sleep. Sleep is also very, very important aspect. Mental health is an integral and essential component of health. It involves effective functioning in daily activities, resulting in productive activities, work, school, and care. Healthy relationships, ability to adopt, change, and cope with adversity. Mental health is the foundation of emotions, thinking, communication, learning, resilience, and self-esteem. Mental health is also key to relationships, personal and emotional well-being, and contributing to common community or society. Good mental health. Give your consideration here. This is very, very important. There are many strategies to establish and maintain good mental health. They are as follows: keeping a positive attitude, staying physically active, helping other people, get enough sleep, eating a healthy diet, socializing with people whom you enjoy spending time with them, forming and using effective coping skills to deal with your problems. You have to cope up the stress in a nice way. You have to deal with your problems in a nice way. Always you should be positive. Always you think in a positive way. Mental health status in Saudi Arabia. In Saudi Arabia, the prevalence of mental health problems among college students represents an important and growing public health concern. In Saudi Arabia, the prevalence of mental health problems, especially depression, stress, and anxiety, are common among college students. According to Amin and et al. In 2013, found that 24.4% of the students had symptoms of depression. 4% had a panic symptoms, and 14% had generalized anxiety symptoms. Another study showed that prevalence rate of psychiatric disorders at primary healthcare institution is estimated to be 30 to 46%, Faris and others in 1995. The prevalence of depression of 20%, Becker and Zed in 2002. These are the reviews, what from the reviews giving details for us. Regular exercise can have a profound positive impact on depression, anxiety, and ADHD. It also relieves stress, improves memory, help you sleep better, and boost your overall mood. Moreover, you don't have to be a fitness fanatic to reap the benefits. The Ministry of Health in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, KSA, declared mental health a priority in the Vision 2030 strategic plan to ensure the KSA's future as a nation where all people thrive, live peacefully, and stay safe. Al-Sheikh and et al. In 2018. Saudi citizens either live abroad for education or work purposes and are scattered around the globe, mainly the US and UK, with an estimated number of 100,000. The Ministry of Education recently 2021. According to the World Health Organization, Saudi Arabian students' physically inactivity is considered the fourth leading risk factor for global mortality, according to WHO 2016, and estimated to account for 6% of the global mortality rate WHO in the year 2010. In Saudi Arabia, 58.5% of the Saudi adult population was considered physically inactive, according to WHO 2010. According to WHO, estimated 57% of children and 70% of youth in Saudi Arabia were physically inactive, according to Al-Haza in the year 2004. It was revealed by national survey that 60% of the entire Saudi Arabian population is physically inactive, according to the Ministry of Health in the year 2013. In early study, it was revealed that total 64% of participants increased psychiatric symptoms during the pandemic, and 34% and 30% met the diagnostic criteria for symptoms of depression and anxiety, respectively. The risk of psychological symptoms was more likely experienced by females, young, single, or diverse, or those who were living alone. Moreover, those who lived in the UK and Ireland were more likely to develop depressive and anxiety symptoms. More than 80% appreciated the response of Saudi government and embassy to meet the mental health needs of the students undergoing quarantine abroad in Saudi Arabia. Behesi and et al. In the year 2021. This was a very recent study. Prevent mental health. Give your concentration here. Exercise, which helps decrease depression and anxiety and improves moods. Avoid alcohol and smoking. Drink plenty of water and eat nutritious meals and get enough sleep. Researchers believe that lack of sleep contributes to a high rate of depression in college students. Exercise improves mental health by reducing anxiety, depression, and negative mood, and by improving self-esteem and cognitive function. And in the year 2004, 30 minutes of exercise of moderate intensity, such as brisk walking, for 3 days in a week is sufficient for those health benefits. Moreover, these 30 minutes need to be continuous, or it can be three 10 minutes walks are believed to be as equal useful as 130 minutes of walk. Ashish Sharma in the year 2006. Effects of physical activity on mental health includes distraction, self-efficacy, and social interaction, according to Peluso and et al. In 2005. Foods improve mental health. Enhancement of your mental health focus on eating plenty of fruits and vegetables, along with food rich in omega-3 fatty acids such as sulfur. Dark green leafy vegetables in particular are brain protective. Nuts, seeds, and legumes such as beans and lentils are also excellent brain foods. Walnuts are known to support overall brain health, being one of the highest plant-based sources of omega-3 and great source of protein, and to keep blood sugar levels at a healthy balance. One study found that depression scores were 26% lower among those who consumed about 1/4 of cup of walnuts per day. Best yoga asanas for mental health. This exercise is fascinating, and it's good effect on the mental health. Yoga asanas, Utasana, or standing forward bend pose. This is an intensive forward stretch pose that works on the muscles of the entire back, improving strength and flexibility. Yoga asanas, Viparita Karani, or legs up the wall pose. If you're a beginner, you can start with just lying down near the wall, and you can keep your legs straight with the support of the wall. Yoga asanas like Shavasana or corpse pose, this is also very beneficial for improving your mental health. Yoga's incorporation of meditation and breathing can help improve a person's mental health. Breathing is also, pranayama is also very important. Regular yoga practice creates mental clarity and calmness, increases body awareness, relieves chronic stress, patterns relaxes the mind, centers attention, and sharpens concentration, says Dr. Nevins. The greatest power we are given is to power to change our minds. Some people are often sick in mind and body because they were never told they are whole, precious, and beautiful. Moreover, before we share this truth with others, we should comprehend this deep realization in ourselves. This is a revolutionary for true mental health. Do regular exercise under professional instructor. Be happy and maintain mental health. Take away home, peace of mind is very important. We can buy everything in the world. We cannot buy our health. So always keep yourself happy. Peace of mind is relax, cool, and improve your knowledge to maintain your mental health and bring discipline in your life, which is very, very important. These are the references. And thank you for giving me an opportunity to attend this wonderful conference on World Congress on Exercise Medicine. Thank you very much. Over to the Chairman, Scientific Session, Dr. Lim Bun Hui. Thank you.
First of all, thank you, Professor Dr. Kaka Azim from Saudi Arabia that share with us about talking about exercise and mental health among the students in Saudi Arabia. At least now we got a clear picture. Actually, not many been to Arab Saudi, that we know that now, even though the rich country during this pandemic, actually their mental health also significantly higher, 60%. Is it true, 60%?
Yes, yeah. Many students, they are having a lot of stress because they are at home increase in body composition. Not only students, but the faculty and staff also got a lot of mental, so because at home they are just sitting on their screen, on tabs, on their mobile phones, and killing them. They cannot go outside. But Alhamdulillah, we are back, and now we are back to our classes normal, and physically we are teaching to the students. Now this is the 10th week. Alhamdulillah, we are back and we are teaching to the students. They are very enthusiastic, and they want to do everything now. They are yes.
All the good times.
Yeah, they are wonderful now. They are wonderful. They want to do everything.
Okay, with all the participants here, whoever still with us, I think I would like to say thank you very much. So this Sunday, you still stay on with our mental health exercise and mental health talk. And then Professor Kakak Rajim just talk about the mental health and the status in Arab Saudi. So that is actually eye-opening for us as well. At this moment, I don't see any question posted here. 3 questions. I guess they are having 3 questions. Yeah, I think Professor Kakak Ajim, you are quite popular. Yeah. Let me get the question first. Where is the question now? Wait, Oh, there are 3 questions. According to your presentation, physical activity would increase calorie demands, which is minimize our mood or mental health issues. But my question is that stressful condition, already a person eat more food than usual. So it will be lead to towards obesity. And then how can you what do you call it, take this point to a positive way? Okay, Professor Kakak.
It's a good question, actually. Yes, when we are in stress and anxiety mood, we eat a lot. So we have to keep an eye on our foods, what you are eating. You should eat healthy. You can eat fruits. But if you are feeling hungry, you can eat. But one day if you eat, no problem. But you have to exercise. That's why I was telling to you in my presentation, physical active, be active, be active. And simple thing as you have to keep an eye on your in and out of your calories, which is very important. Maybe you are in stress or not. We have to keep tight eye on your in and out of your calories, and that we know that what is your body weight multiplied by 24 simple calculation. For example, 100 kgs weight multiplied by 24 is 2,400 calories. So out of calories is very important. And when you are in stress, but don't like people take smoking or go for alcohol, just avoid these things. But eat is okay. Healthy eating is good for your health. One day if you eat, no problem. But go for exercise.
Hello?
And inshallah, you will be more strong.
Okay. All right. I think Professor Kakak, there's another question also from Sida. Sir, many depressed person couldn't share their problem with others, or they have a lack of confidence in talking, taking decision, so that if they consult with others, they become double-minded. Or can I reach one of the specific decision? So how can they cope with this situation? You got the answer? You got a question? Yeah.
I got the point. If you have any problems, you have to whom you should contact, which is very important. you should consult to a professional so that he can give you a ideal and very precise answer to your questions and give you a good suggestion. But don't talk to everybody, and everybody will give you a different opinion, different suggestions. So, for example, you have a good teacher like our Professor Unboy. You can contact him, like, for he's a professional and he can give you a very precise suggestion to you, very professional suggestion to you. So don't ask with everybody, but you can take an advice from a professional.
Okay, good. I hope that answer the query. And also the third question from the same, from Sida as well. So during yoga asana, kindly, oh, just a minute. They say, kindly suggest thickness of the gym mat, because it will be used to the mat that I've been teaching towards the back edge. That's why they, what is a suggestion for the yoga asana? What kind of mat that is to use? Yeah.
There are a number of companies are there, and usually we use the aerobic mats. We use for in our university we are using aerobic mats. We are buying this. It's cost 250 riyal or something. It is very good, very good. We are using that one, but because in our gymnasiums we have wall-to-wall carpets, and we use this aerobic mats. For us, not separate mats. I don't know, in Saudi Arabia we are getting this one. It's around 250 to 350 riyal, but it's very good quality one, and mostly like we say, you have to come out from the comfort zone. Do it on the floor. I believe this in my students. Sometimes do in a natural way. I don't know. I just want our professor, my chairperson of this session. What do you think, Professor? What I'm telling you, always we say that comes out from the comfort zone and practice. And because I used to do 500 abdomens on the floor, sometimes 300 abdomens on the floor. I was All India Diversity champion. I never go for very soft type mats.
Yeah.
For women, they are delicate, and yes, you can go ahead with the aerobic mats. It's good for you. But for common students, sometimes bring them out of the comfort zone. Yeah. Not every, so that they can achieve to the highest level of performance.
Yeah, I hope Professor Jim already answered the question. Maybe to add on the mat, how thick is it? It depends on how much money you have.
Simple. It depends on your economy, on your budget, on your budget. Yes.
Because the quality of the mat is always depends on the price. The good one is always a good and soft and actually can last longer.
Yes, it's good because always the gyms nowadays they have very good mats, and aerobic mats you can use. It's very good. We buy it here 250 riyal. It's around 5,000 rupees Indian rupees, I believe.
Okay, with that, on behalf of this organizer, I would like to say, take this opportunity to thanks Professor Kakak Azim that taking his time to present to us, sharing with us about the Arab Saudi, this the situation in Arab. Yeah. So with that, thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, and giving me opportunity.
Thank you. So next up, I think whichever the question just now. Yeah, we have another presenter, which is I thought that is a master's. I always call him Master's Lingam because he is the Sifu in yoga teaching in Malaysia. So I think he's actually a founder and also the president of Malaysian Yoga Sport Association. So Dr. Lingam is actually, I was with him, and then we conducted an even celebration of Yoga Day in Malaysia as well. And also, he is also a president of Southeast Asia Yoga Sport Confederation as well. So that the man is here today. Later, whoever want to know more, you can go and visit his maybe his center as well. So without further ado, I would like to hand over the floor to Dr. Lingam Pillai Achara. Come.
To one and all, and welcome to the 5th World Conference on Exercise Medicine. I'd like to wish everybody to keep safe and keep well. And thank you for giving me this great opportunity to share my knowledge on the great science of yoga, especially in the breathing part of it. Pranayama has the ways and techniques to improve oxygenation level in our system. Pranam to all the distinguished guests, professors and doctors. Hari Om. Now, in yoga, we say the soul of yoga is breathing, pranayama. In yoga, we also have the limbs of yoga, yama, niyama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi, and asana. But two important factors are important in understanding this so-called the 8 limbs of yoga. Number 1 is the physical part of it. Number 2, the most important part of it is the psychological level or the psychological dimension of yoga, where the soul of yoga is pranayama, breathing. Now, this part of the practice of yoga is governed by almost 840,000 asanas, according to the treatise, an evidence-based 5,000 years old treatise that in the Gerunda Samhita 2.1.2, it states that there are 840,000 forms of exercises that also includes the breathing system, the pranayama. So therefore, the organ systems of the body that we are talking about, the integumentary, skeletal-muscular, the nervous system, the endocrine, the cardiovascular, lymphatic, respiratory, digestive system, and the urinary, and also the reproductive system, everything is directly linked to the practice of yoga, especially the breathing and the physical asanas, which are the yoga postures. Now, how is that possible? Because in yoga, we have about 16 categories of asanas. The headstand, the inversions, the arm balance, the back bend, the prone position, the supine position, the twisting position. All these positions in these categories has a direct impact and influence on our system. Physically, what it does is it strengthens and tones the muscles, improves athletic performance, helps in relaxation, feeling healthier, energetic, plus the kinesthetic awareness, balances the metabolism, improves balance and posture. This part of it is by our breathing system. For example, when we do Bremery Pranayama, we use our fingers here, these 2 index fingers, we press, we inhale deeply, and we hum. As long as possible. By exhalation as long as possible, then only we are able to breathe in deeply to increase oxygenation in the body. And this is called vital capacity. So therefore, pranayama improves vital capacity because we give emphasis not only in brahmana, in inhalation, but especially in langana, breathing out, totally exhaling your breath to the maximum, and then inhaling the breath once again. So by increasing tidal volume, which is a one respiratory cycle of inhalation, of air intake and air out, yeah, this is called ventilation. In pranayama, in breathing, we give understanding to ventilation and respiration. Now, many people are confused about these two aspects, ventilation and respiration. But in pranayama, we give importance to ventilation, because by the means of ventilation only, we are able to increase the oxygenation intake in our system. Now, for this, we need to understand from the awareness of the body and the awareness of the mind as well, where awareness of emotions plays an important role in our state of consciousness, in our state of well-being. Yeah. Now, we can understand that the most important part, as I said earlier, pranayama, the missing link. And we know that by certain oxygen consumption, by interval training, we are able to increase and maximize oxygenation level. In yoga, the interrupted of the practice of the rhythm of technique breathing is being given importance. In yoga, we have 6 principles. 1, the awareness. 2, the slowness of breathing. 3, the emotion part of it. The awareness part of it. Then we have to regulate. Then we have to control. We call MRT. We have to control the breath. We have to regulate the breath, and we have to monitor the breath also. So we have 6 principles where when a yogi or a practitioner practices these 6 principles, then you are able to increase oxygenation, which is a direct impact on the cardiovascular system, as well as the blood circulation and the entire endocrine system. And we know that it's very important to increase blood supply, especially to the lymphatic system, to the internal organs. And the secret of the breathing lies on how to fill the lungs totally. In our pranayama breathing techniques, not only the abdominal breathing is being given importance, but the thoracic breathing and the mid breathing and the clavicular breathing system also is being given a lot of importance, the upper. So therefore, the abdominal breathing, the lower lobes, the middle lobes, and the upper lobes are filled with this oxygen, because we give importance to ventilation process. Because when there is a good ventilation process only, then only we are able to have a very, very good respiration process in our system. Now, for this, we all understand that quality of breath plays a very important role in our mental state. And because of the pandemic and the challenges that we are facing today, all of us are wearing a mask to protect ourselves. Lucky that I'm not wearing a mask during this recording session. So you just imagine that you're wearing a mask, means what? One side you are trying to protect yourself, and on the other side you are trying to deplete the oxygen or the exchange of gases in our system. Now we know that respiration is a mechanical process. It's a passive diffusion of oxygen and carbon dioxide. Whereas ventilation here is a process of what? Drawing air in and expelling air from the lungs. So therefore, as I said earlier, pranayama increases the potential power of what we call the very form of the pranayama. It increases pranayama here. and also it will help to increase what the psychological effects on our system. And we know that here it not only improves the concentration level, the attention, the focus, but we increase memory power. Yeah, it is said here in one of the scriptures, yoga karmasu kausalam. When there is calmness and relaxation in the human consciousness, then there is efficiency will increase in our body. So therefore, the calmness in a relaxed manner is a very important criteria. Yeah. And by this, it will increase composure, inner confidence, giving you positive mental attitude, bringing contentment, as well as clarity of mind, as well as right thinking. Now, for all this, when we are doing time, that pranayama or increasing oxygenation helps in increasing vital capacity. You know, vital capacity you can see in our breathing system, where we call one great breathing system, where the Langana, where emphasis is given on the prolongation of the out breath rather than the in breath. The in breath, we have to breathe in very deeply. So therefore, in one of the Kundalini Yoga Sutras, yeah, Kundalini Pranayama Sutras, it is stated there that if one is able to breathe in 16 seconds, 16 digits, and breathe out 16 digits, you will increase oxygen intake as well as increase immune system, yeah, as well as combat against all diseases of the body and mind. Sarva roga nivarana dirga ayul pradayakam. Sarva roga nivaranam. That means one who practices pranayama and gives emphasis on the oxygenation intake, you are able to combat against all diseases physically and mentally. Yeah. For this, we will try to understand one part of our system, where the brain, yeah, the endorestiform nucleus, yeah, which is found, yeah, in the brain spinal cord junction, plays an important role in our practice. Yeah, here it is the homeostatic functions, where it regulates primarily the regulation of breath, yeah, that information, motor control, and temperature regulation plays here, especially in this asana called Ashtangasana, the 8-pointed posture, where it controls the pressure. Pressure is also known as the symptomless disease. Yeah. So the regulation of the control of the respiratory system is controlled by the vagus nerve, also part of the endocrine systems. So therefore, when we talk about the cranial nerve, one of which is called the vagus nerve, where pranayama stimulates and strengthens the vagus nerve from the brain. So this is called the Kundalini pathway. Yeah. So therefore, by understanding the endorestiform nucleus at the base of the brain here, yeah, in yoga postures, all the 16 categories of yoga postures stimulates, yeah, the endorestiform. Now, when we do yoga, there must be a balance between muscle tensioning and relaxation. And it is important to give the rhythm and control of movements in a very good formula. In yoga, we give in breathing as well, and in yoga movements, we give emphasis on the formulation, the right, correct formulation, sequencing of yoga postures in a proper way, as well the safety aspects and the effectiveness of the asana. How do we calculate the effectiveness of an exercise? In yoga, they say the less injury, the less risk ratio is, the higher the effectiveness is. So therefore, in yoga, we find that we also give a lot of primary focus on resting metabolic rate. After certain postures, we take a break. We take a break because why? Because we want to release ATP. We want to burn calories. Yeah, we want to increase the metabolic system, the BMR, yeah, which plays a very, very important role in oxygenation levels. So therefore, by maintaining the TD, the total daily energy expenditure. So therefore, not only that it will bring great benefits to our system, but we have to understand that it stimulates the brain cells. Yeah, it stimulates the neurological system of our brain. Yeah, by increasing brain plasticity. Yeah, when we do certain asanas along with the breathing system, so that we will understand to control and balance emotions, which is part of our emotional consciousness. So therefore, we say that yoga not only affects physically, but it is a biological science as well as a neurological science. Now, when we talk about mental benefits here, when we do pranayama along with physical asanas exercises, there is a boost in our chemical where we boost neurotransmitters, yeah, in our brain, where the neurotransmitters not only they are what we say antioxidant chemicals, but they also help to increase the antioxidant levels as well to decrease oxidative stress. You see, so there is a balance here. Yeah, and we know that by quieting the mind, yeah, we are able to bring the state of our consciousness, our mental state, yeah, where as a direct control on the deeper level of relaxations, where we are able to stimulate, yeah, the alpha, theta, beta, and delta waves of our brain. Now, I'm sure you have heard of this SAD syndrome. Yeah, today the entire world suffers from this pandemic. So therefore, how do we overcome this? Yeah, many suicides are there. Yeah, stress response, yeah, anxiety, depression, suicide rates are alarming, growing day by day. So, is yoga a neurological science? Yeah, where it is able to stimulate and alter the brain activity by increasing the hippocampus of the brain. So therefore, now when we speak not only about brain chemicals, we speak also about the responsibility for feeling of relaxation, the contentment, the calmness, and the joyfulness. Yeah. Now, two parts of the brain is important, where the pranayama, yeah, works on the emotional brain as well as the logical brain too. So therefore, sometimes in stress response, yeah, by turning off our stress response, we trigger the relaxation response in the brain, bringing about mental calmness. Yeah. So therefore, I want to tell you that there are certain exercises where we do the Linga Mudra. The Linga Mudra, where the thumb is responsible for the element of fire. Fire and air is very important, where heat is increased in the system. So the Linga Mudra is being put this way and then pressed this way and increased. So by doing the Linga Mudra 5 to 10 to 15 minutes a day, you are able to increase oxygenation level, yeah, by doing rhythmic breathing, inhaling 5 times and exhaling 5 times. And plus also the Pashupata Kriya, where your hands are placed this way, you inhale, you go, so therefore by doing such practices, not only that we work on the muscles, nerves, senses, desires, mind, but we increase breath by increasing oxygenation level. And this, the life force, the chi and the prana increases in our body. So therefore, by controlling breath, we are able to redirect attention, yeah, through japa, heighten focus and concentration to bring total awareness, and the body and mind starts to be awakened. And that's that. So therefore, in epigenetics, yeah, we find that the mind, the mental part of the brain, plays a total control of our success, our health, our state of biology, and finally our performance in our life. So therefore, breathing is a very important aspect. Yeah. So in practice of yoga, oxygenation is the soul of our concern. Yeah. The soul of yoga. So dear friends, thank you very much for giving me this great opportunity to share my knowledge on increasing oxygenation levels as supplement in combating our mental state of consciousness. And I hope that everybody will learn to be safe, and keep breathing. Yeah. Thank you very much. Hari Om Tat Sat.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Linga Pele, that for the title of presentation, Oxygen Supplement through Yoga for Mental Health Benefits. I think this is wonderful. This is something more insight in terms of this is pandemic time. The most important thing is oxygen. Correct. Everybody is dying for oxygen, and then everybody, whenever affected by COVID-19 pandemic, is due to oxygen. So that I think you have been sharing something very insightful and very useful for whichever the person who listened here today. Yeah, yeah. Okay, now we would like to open a question from the floor. Let me check whether is there any question for you. All right, Dr. Lingam, you need to unmute. Dr. Lingam? Dr. Lingam, you need to unmute. Nobody can hear anything. Dr. Lingam, you need to unmute first. Okay, we look into the Q&A session that it is said that while doing, I also can't read the Bremery, our positive aura will get increased. Is there any age to measure the aura? I think Dr. Lingam is keep on talking. Also, maybe he don't hear the question as well. If you want to ask, if because of technical problem, maybe later on we can anybody we can ask him personally lah. If not, I don't think so. We can get it. He's having technical problem. He can, you know. And the second question is why we need to press specific fingers while doing asana, as we call such a position mudra. So I think that question, I think Dr. Lingam need to answer later on, or maybe the person can keep in touch with him personally. Yeah, I also cannot answer this. There are quite a number of questions for Dr. Lingam. Dr. Lingam, we can't hear you at all. Dr. Lingam, you are keep on talking. We can't hear you in a single word. Dr. Lingam, can you hear me? I think Dr. Lingam is actually the technical problem. We can't solve it. I think he himself have to solve with the what do you call that? You know, the computer got problem or whoever, and yeah, maybe due to the connection problem and all that. So that with that, I think I would like to, on behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to say thank you very much to Dr. Lingam to share the more insight, talk about oxygen supplementation using yoga. Wood Parayama. I think this is fantastic. It's something, and today we also, everybody is learning something and all that, because I think yoga is become so popular nowadays. And why not? Everybody can try that to induce that the system, so that the ventilation is become better, the circulation is become better, everything is become better, so that we are more healthy. All right. So because we are talking about mental health. All right. So with that, thank you very much once again to Dr. Lingam. Now, I think one person talking about yoga maybe is insufficient, so that in this conference, we are putting another one to make it clear, so that without further ado, now I would like to invite the second speaker, the third speaker, sorry, Miss Niha. Can I have Miss Nisa's, yeah, Miss Nisa is actually a wellness consultant and yoga therapist as well at Anita Integrative and also Lifestyle Medicine Center. So that's its area of expertise is actually neuroskeletons and also problems such as backache and also cervical spondylitis and also the diabetes and also the hypertension and cancers, and work with the alongside with the physicians specialists specialize in the field of lifestyle medicine and also the Amita to improve the holistic and also health regimens and to the client, and play a role in the development in the global information portal on the traditional and complementary therapies for the Ministry of Health, Malaysia, and then contributing articles and also papers on yoga. So without further ado, shall we welcome Ms. Nisha Laxmana to present her paper, Building Stress Resilience Through Yoga Therapy, so that again, yoga can actually building this to avoid all the stress. Please.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today we will be talking about stress resilience with yoga therapy. Okay, now before we go into the subject matter proper, let's look at how stressed we all are. Okay? And let's just do a quick scan of our own selves. Think about it. Do you have a furrowed brow? Are your jaws clenched? Are your shoulders slouched? Do your toes curl under? Do you feel tight in your shoulder muscles, arms, legs, hands, or buttocks? Now, if you say yes to any of the above, then yes, your body is showing signs of stress. Now, stress is the health epidemic of the 21st century. Now, a survey done by the American Psychological Association in 2009 showed that 75% of adults reported experiencing moderate to high levels of stress. Now, in 2012, almost 50% reported that stress levels had increased in the past 5 years. Now, what is stress? Stress is defined as the pressures of life and how one perceives, believes, reacts, and copes with these pressures. Stress is experienced when emotional, physical, or environmental demands exceed a person's resources and ability to cope. Now, you take a family, a husband and a wife, they can face the same stress. The husband and the wife will react and respond to the stress in different ways because their stress ability, the ability to cope with the stress is different, right? Likewise, at a workplace, colleagues working on a problem, on a project, when something goes wrong with the project, and they all have to try and salvage that project, there'll be a lot of frustration and stress. Now, each member of that group, all right, will exhibit different levels of stress. Now, what are causes of stress? All right, family problems, the diet we eat, stress at work, or having a disease are some causes of stress. Okay. Now, the COVID-19 has brought on more stress with deaths, sicknesses, and loss of income. Okay, there are many causes of stress. Now, what is the relationship between stress and diseases? Stress activates many pathways to which stress hormones like cortisol, adrenaline, and noradrenaline flow. Now, when this happens, the parasympathetic nervous system is inhibited. And this in turn decreases neurotransmitters such as serotonin, dopamine, and GABA. Serotonin is Mr. Happiness, dopamine is Mrs. Motivation, and GABA is the Grand Controller. Now, all this can result an imbalance in gut flora. It also increases oxidative stress and inflammation. It can also impair immunity. Now, this sets the stage ripe and ready to welcome in disease. So, stress, as you can see, accelerates aging and it increases the risk of physical, mental, and emotional health disorders. Now, according to the World Health Organization, depression will likely overtake heart disease and cancer to become the single most chronic disease by 2030. Now, this statement by the World Health Organization was said way before the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, with the COVID-19 pandemic, mental health disorders become racing to the forefront. Now let's look at what's happening in Malaysia. Now in 2012, 12% of the population suffered from depression and anxiety compared to 29% in 2017. Now this was a survey done by the National Health and Morbidity Survey. Now, what is stress resiliency? Okay, now with the growing cases of stress, there is a need for people to be empowered. All right, people need to be able to cope and manage the growing increase of stress and health challenges. So how does one do this? It's actually by developing what we call stress resiliency. What is stress resiliency? It is the ability to cope with life's challenges and to adapt to adversity. Life, as we all know, is not going to be a smooth path for us to ride on. There are going to be bumps, sometimes massive hurdles along the path. And when you are resilient, you take the curves and you can maneuver the bumps that come along in life. So now stress resiliency levels are not fixed in an individual. They can be changed. So the people can be trained to become more stress resilient. So by developing self-resiliency, we maintain our well-being in difficult times. It helps to protect against stress and related disorders, including mental health disorders. Now, how does one actually develop stress resiliency? Now, one very ancient technique is through yoga. This is a 5,000-year-old technique. And today, this ancient technique is one of the 10 most commonly used camp therapies. Now, yoga belongs under the discipline of mind, body, medicine. Now, if you actually examine the chart says that yoga is the top is at the 6th level. It is the 6th most commonly practiced camp therapy. But if you actually scrutinize it, the different subsets of yoga, like meditation, progressive muscle relaxation techniques, deep breathing, guided imagery, now all these are actually part of yoga. They are all actually also one of the 10 most commonly, 10 most commonly used camp therapies, which means yoga and its subset therapies are amongst the top, half of these 10 therapies comes under the domain of yoga. So yoga is actually just a prescription that helps you lead a certain lifestyle. It is a prescription for a healthy life that incorporates diet, exercise, stress resiliency, sleep, avoidance of substance abuse, developing discernment and awareness, self-care, and connecting oneself to oneself and to others and nature. Yoga addresses the physiological and psychological health of a person. It increases stress resiliency. It regulates the amygdala, the stress sensor. It decreases the production of stress hormones and inflammatory cytokines. It promotes healthy gut flora, increases the production of serotonin, dopamine, and GABA, and it promotes enhanced connectivity with the left prefrontal cortex. Now, how does it do this? It does this by activating the relaxation response. What is the relaxation response? It's the body's natural counterbalance against stress. Now, it activates the parasympathetic nervous system. All the vagus nerve is activated. Now, in this state, there's a feeling, all right, of deep rest. And you are able to address the changes that stress brings about, all right? The body gets rest and it promotes longevity. Now, how does it do this? It does this by resetting one's mind. It resets your mind to become mindful, not full of things, not mindful with a double L, but mindful, to be aware of yourself, the situation, and the surroundings. Now, the father of mindfulness, Dr. John Kabat-Zinn, says that mindfulness is the psychological process of bringing one's attention to the internal and external experience occurring in the present moment, which can be developed through the practice of meditation, yoga, and other training. Now, let's look at some research that has been done which actually validates all these claims, okay? Now, the Journal of Integrative Cancer Therapy shows that yoga therapies reduce salivary cortisol levels. And in another study, in a comparison between novice and expert yoga practitioners, the outcome showed that regular practice dampened the stress levels. Now, in people who didn't practice it very often, like in the novices, the serum interleukin-6 level was 41% higher. And the odds of the novice having a detectable CRP was 4.75 times higher in novices compared to the experts. Right? Now, in another research on the heart, okay, the outcome showed that doing regular yoga, in particular, specifically here meditation, the outcome showed that continuous meditation improved blood pressure levels, blood glucose levels, and the heart rate variability. So, in summary, now worldwide, we are facing a stress epidemic, which in turn compromises our physical, mental, and emotional health. Stress resilience will help to mitigate the effects of stress and promote physical, mental, and emotional health. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, yoga therapy intervention is a key component in building stress resilience. Remember, a happy mind gives one a happy life. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Nisa, for the wonderful presentation on the stress resilience building that with yoga. I know stress resilience is very difficult to build, but yoga, I think so, for 5,000 years ago have been practiced that. I think it should be, it should be useful, I guess. Yeah. So also you have been presented with the supported the previous finding and all research and all that. I think it's very useful and then interesting to know all that. So now I would like to open the floor for any question from Ms. Nisa to clarify the use of yoga and to build out the resilience for stress and all that, so that no stressful is a peaceful life. Correct. So since there's no question asked again, can I ask a simple question that I don't know which type of maybe yoga is suitable for this to build up the resilience for stress? Which type? Yeah.
Which type of yoga is to build up stress resiliency, is it?
Yeah.
Which one is good for building up? Is that your question, Dr. Lim? Which kind of yoga is good for building up stress resiliency? Is that your question?
Yeah, that mean which type of yoga that practice that actually can increase or enhance the resilience for the stress so that people don't get stressful. Yeah.
Actually, any form of yoga can help.
Yeah.
Hatha yoga is good, but there are actually techniques, specialized techniques that actually can help you build stress resiliency. There are techniques, specific yoga poses, breathing techniques, like Dr. Lingam also mentioned, that will actually control the mind and through your breath, because breathing is actually very, very important in controlling your thought patterns. When you control your breath, okay, you find that your breathing falls in line. And that's why it's actually a mind-body connection. And the connection is actually the prana, the breath that you breathe in. When you control breathing, the mind actually also gets calm, and you can actually start to, even if in a stressful situation, you can't remove the stress. Now, we can't tell COVID to go away, okay? But what we can do is when we actually start to control our thinking, our breath, start with controlling the breath, then the thinking kind of falls in line. All right, then you can prioritize. You can say things like, okay, I can't get COVID out of the way, but I can do some simple things. I can follow SOPs. I can build up my immune system. I can, when I go out, I'll wash my hands. You start doing things in a very systematic manner. Your mind works with you to actually execute a plan of action that helps you out. And this is not just for COVID, but it's in anything, at work, in school, in college. It will help. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe next question actually from Dr. Amit. I think I don't know what should be here. Which is the best asana to make us mindful?
Which is the best asana to make you mindful?
Yeah.
Okay. The best asana to make all right. Okay, one to make you mindful. Again, it's again about controlling. It's actually you are mindful when you're totally relaxed, and being relaxed. All right, it's not just about lepaking. All right, being relaxed is actually with again getting the breath and the mind in alignment. So there is something called the deep relaxation technique. Now, this deep relaxation technique doesn't actually make you knock off and go to sleep, but on the contrary, it makes you so relaxed that your mind is fresh and invigorated, and you are ready to actually take on the challenges of whatever is happening around you. That is actually, it can work two ways. It can actually give you deep relaxation at a physical and mental level, but it can also sharpen the mind and make you so aware of your surroundings and of yourself. So I would say the deep relaxation technique, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I think no further questions. On behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to take this opportunity to say thank you very much to Ms. Misha for insightful in terms of yoga to building up the stress resilience, so that in Malaysia, or the listener, whoever attend this conference today, maybe they won't be so much about stressful now. Then the most important thing is please practice yoga. Correct? Yeah.
Yes,
With that, thank you very much. Thank you.
Dr. Lim.
Yeah, thank you. All right, we move on. We need to move on because we got two more. Yeah, the next up will be very interesting. From birth from Malaysia, it's on Thailand. So we hardly see people from Thailand to talk about. So today we are so lucky, we are so privileged to have Associate Professor Dr. Sombat Onseri from Thailand, and he's actually a PhD holder with the Exercise and Sport Science for Oregon State University, USA, and then Masters of Art Physical Education, Sinanori Rirot University, Thailand, and Bachelor in Sport Science and Science Physical Education, Kesasat University of Thailand. So today he's going to share with us something very interesting. It's a traditional exercise and use it for the betterment of mental health. So this is something new that what traditional exercise that Thailand have that share with us. Well, without further ado, I think I would like to hand it over the floor to Associate Professor Dr. Sombat Onseri, please.
Sawasdee krap. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for inviting me to present at World Conference on Exercise Medicines. It is a great honor to be here. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Sombat Onseri. I am Associate Professor from Department of Physical Education, Faculty of Education, Kasetsat University, Thailand. The topic that I'm going to talk about is the Thai traditional exercise and mental health. So, this is the outline of my presenting that would be covering my topics. The first thing that I will talk about is the mental health and mental illness worldwide. And next, I will talk about Thailand. This is my country, and some statistics of mental health situation in Thailand. Then I will talk about how exercise can help people who have mental health disorder. Last thing, I will talk about the Thai traditional exercise and mental health. Let's begin to talk about mental health. Mental health is one of the most significant determinants of life qualities and certification. Mental health refers to cognitive behaviors, emotional well-being. It is also about how people think, feel, and behave. Mental health can affect daily living, relationship, and physical health. According to World Health Organization, mental health is a state of well-being in which an individual realizes his or her own abilities, can cope with the normal stress of life, can work productively, and is able to make a contribution to his or her communities. It is very important to remember that a person's mental health can change over time, depending on many factors. When the demand placed on the person exceeds their resources and coping abilities, their mental health could be impacted. For example, if someone is working for long hours, caring for a relative, or experiencing economic crisis, they may experience poor mental health. Everybody experiences a range of feelings that come and go: nervous, happy, lonely, excited, or angry. Sometimes the bad feeling don't go away and can start to impact important part of our life. Mental health also can call mental health disorder, refer to a wide range of mental health conditions, disorder that affect your mood, thinking, and behavior. Mental health can make it difficult for someone to cope with work, relationship, and other demands. Example of mental health illness include depression, anxiety disorder, schizophrenia, eating disorder. This slide will be presenting the statistics of mental health disorder worldwide. Mental health problems have become an important issue in many countries, with a continued rise in the number of people suffering from disorders. This slide showing you some statistics that tell us about how situation of mental health worldwide. In 2018, around 970 million people in the world were suffering from mental health disorder. Anxiety is the most common mental health in the world. There were around 284 million people suffering from anxiety. Globally, depression affects around 246 million people. It is estimated mental health disorders are attributable to 14.3% of deaths worldwide, or approximately 8 million deaths each year. This slide will show you some statistics from mental health in Thailand. According to the Departments of Mental Health Thailand, there was a 76.77% increase in the number of people suffering from mental health disorder from 2015 to 2017. This includes a 30.69% increase in the number of people with associated symptoms, mainly due to mental disorder. From 2015 to 2017, if we take a look at the bar chart, we can see increasing the number of different categories of mental health disorder cases in Thailand over the past 3 years. From the previous slide, show you the increasing the number of people who are suffering from mental health disorders. One of the ways that can reduce and treat the mental health disorder is exercise. When you are exercise regularly, your physical fitness will improve your cardiovascular system to help you develop healthy bones, muscle, and joints, and help you maintain healthy weight. Exercise has also been shown to help prevent and manage several chronic diseases such as diabetes and heart disease. Exercise also show to improve mental health by reducing anxiety, depression, and negative mood, and by improving self-esteem and cognitive function. Why is exercise good for mental health disorder? In terms of biological mechanism, exercise has been shown to cause change in certain chemicals called endorphins. Endorphins are the feel-good chemical messenger that help relieve pain and stress during exercise. Endorphins are one of the many neurotransmitters in our brain that determine how we think and feel about certain situations. When these are activated during exercise, they trigger the release of helpful chemicals throughout the body, which not only help us get through the activity, but improve our general mood. These chemicals include dopamine, norepinephrine, serotonin, and adrenaline. Let I talk about Thailand. The Kingdom of Thailand is the third country located in Southeast Asia, bordering the Andaman Sea and the Gulf of Thailand. Neighboring countries include Myanmar, Cambodia, Laos, Malaysia. There are 6 geographical regions which differ from the other in population, basic resources, natural features, and level of social and economic development, tradition, and culture. The population is about 70 million people. according to the loyal Thai government's 2011 country report to the United Nations. 62 ethnic communities are officially recognized in Thailand. Thai culture and tradition incorporate a great deal of influence from India, China, Cambodia, and the rest of Southeast Asia. People who live in each region have created their own culture that transfer from generation to generation for a long time until become a local cultures. The culture of each part of Thailand is covered or as part of life of the people living, such as food, clothing, housing, art, religions, handicraft, medicine, and exercise and sport activities. Because Thailand is located in the center of Southeast Asia and surrounded by neighboring countries that I already talked about from the previous slide, this location allows Thailand to observe different culture and traditional practice while maintaining its own. Thailand is a country rich in cultural activity, festival celebration, traditional Thai sport or exercise have been passed from generation to generation, making them an essential component in Thailand cultural tradition. They are popular traditional sport in Thailand that reflects the Thai way of life and their intellectual sensitivities. This has continued through the age and it keeps the bond strong for the Thai. Muay Thai and Visi Datun are the Thai traditional exercise that I will present to you today. Muay Thai or Thai boxing have been one of the most unique sports in Thailand. It was developed several hundred years ago at the time of close combat sport. Muay Thai has been regarded as valuable culture, tradition, and identity of the nation for a long time since Sukhothai period to the present. Unlike other martial arts, Muay Thai used the whole body as a weapon, which led it to become known as art of eight limbs and the most effective of the striking sport. The eight limbs are being referred to both fist, elbow, knee, and chin. The main feature of Thai boxing. In the past, learning and practicing Muay Thai was used as a fighting method to defend from various dangers and to defend from neighboring countries. Nowadays, the world has changed in different eras. Instead of being a method for protecting the country as in the past, Muay Thai has been brought to the class and trained for exercise, lead to promoting physical fitness, mental health, attitude, belief, and value of Thai people passed down from their ancestors. It also represents the perfection and integrity of Thai cultures. Muay Thai and mental health disorders. Today's society, aggressive behavior in children and adolescents is becoming more and more violent day by day. In 2002, a report of World Health Organization showed that violent and aggressive behavior among students was a major problem. In Thailand, the Department of Mental Health conducted a survey in 2016 among more than 4 million children and adolescents aged 13 to 17 years old. The survey found that aggressive behavior represents 3.8%, which was estimated that there were about 15,000 people nationwide. This slide, I will show you how we teach Muay Thai in school. The Ministry of Education had designed physical education as one of the learning subjects in the basic education core curriculums. Physical education curriculum consists of movement, physical exercise, game, Thai and international sport. Muay Thai is the one of the subjects that most schools in Thailand had designed in the physical education curriculums. Muay Thai has been applied as a means of teaching and learning exercise to encourage students to practice for their physical, mental, emotional, moral, and ethical health. to protect themselves from any harm, to have desirable behaviors, as well as to help preserve good art and culture to be able to carry on with Thai society. In this slide, we show you the research that create Muay Thai program to reduce aggressive students. Nilut Sukdi, 2019, he developed Muay Thai learning management plan according to cognitive behavior modification concept for reducing aggressive behavior of lower secondary school students. After 16 weeks of the training program, Muay Thai learning management plan was effective in decreasing aggressive behavior of the experimental group of students. This slide shows two research show Muay Thai can improve the quality of life among students. Nilut Sukdi, 2018, he developed an exercise program using Muay Thai to improve online skill regarding emotional coping of upper elementary student Muay Thai, which consists of 5 activities: movement of mind and body, Muay Thai dance, individual Muay Thai weapons, dual Muay Thai weapon, and muscle relaxation activities. After participating in exercise program, the experimental group had improved life skill regarding emotional coping based on comparison of test results before. Another research from Gita and Chintana, 2017, they developed an activity exercise model using Muay Thai to improve the quality of life of upper secondary school students. After 8 weeks of experimental, the experimental group had a better quality of life, physical fitness, psychological, social relationship, security, and safety than before. Another Thai traditional exercise that I will talk about is Lucy Daton. Thai wisdom exercise Lucy Daton is the Thai mind body exercise known as Thai Hermit exercise or Thai yoga that had originated and developed over 200 years in Thailand by Wat Pha Chetupon Vimon Mangkalaram or Wat Po and Thai Ministry of Public Health. Lucy in Thai came from the Indian word Rishi, mean hermit. The that word mean to stretch and ton refer to oneself. Lucy that ton then means something like the hermit who stretched himself. Lucy that ton exercise include slow and gentle movements, low to moderate intensity, length of motion, incorporating element of muscle strength, balance, flexibility, and body alignment. It also combines meditation, controlled deep breathing, and relaxation. So the main principle and techniques of the Siddhaton are similar to other mind body exercise. The Siddhaton is useful for body restructuring in standing, sitting, and supine position. Thai traditional medicine institution has complied a recitation of the posture which is applied to the continuity of all 15 movements, including 8 sitting posture, 4 standing posture, and 2 supine posture. This slide will show you the picture of 15 position and posture of the Rishi Daton. This slide will show you the research had been done in 2002 by Apitai Anantapayon. He studied the effect of Thai Hermit exercise and thinking on stress reduction of youth at the Youth Detention Center. Subjects were assigned into 3 groups: Thai Hermit exercise group, thinking group, and control group. After 8 weeks of program, the results show that the Hermit exercise can reduce the stress of juveniles when comparing with the control group. Another research used Lucy Daton exercise program to improve blood pressure and quality of life in older adults. This study demonstrated that the Thai mind body exercise Lucy Daton has a potency to reduce blood pressure and improve quality of life in older adults. Resiliency exercise is very popular to variety of the group of Thai community. In school, some school designed Resiliency as physical education in the classroom. Some school had designed Resiliency as extracurriculum activities. In community, the Thai government had organized and Resiliency exercise program to promote physical health and mental health for the elderly in various community throughout Thailand. Even in Thai temple, some of Thai temple provide the Resiliency exercise program for the people. In conclusion, mental illness can make it difficult for someone to cope with work, relationship, or their demands. Mental health problems have become an important issue in many countries, with a continued rise in the number of people suffering from disorder, including Thailand. Thai traditional exercise like Muay Thai and Resiliency not only can improve physical fitness, but also can reduce mental health disorders. Thank you so much. สวัสดีครับ
Sawadee thank you very much, Associate Professor Dr. Sombat Ansari, and then thank you for the insightful in terms of your presentation, and lovely. Like today, we also learned something about Thai yoga and also Muay Thai. That is actually one of the methods, exercises, traditional exercise, is actually can reduce the mental health problem and whatever things like that. I look at that. Is there any question from you? Yeah, so far there is no question. Dr. Sompa, maybe just asking you about this, in terms of Muay Thai. So actually, how long people practice then can reduce the mental health problem?
I think this is just the same as the exercise.
Yeah.
Because the exercise is very good for release anxiety or something. Maybe more than a month, you can reduce your aggressive or something.
I see.
Yeah.
So maybe just to make another question is talk about Thai yoga. Is there any differences Thai yoga and the Indian yoga? Because
I think the Resiliency and yoga are the mind exercise reduce blood pressure, stress, and depression. But the one thing that very different is the posture. Because the Resiliency is not have that it's not have a inversion posture. It's very simple.
I see. So compared to the Indian yoga, it's like much easy to perform. Am I right?
Right. Yeah. And we have just only 15 positions.
15 positions is a fixed one.
Really easy to learn that.
Yeah, the Indian yoga is so many type, and then
right, and then they may require very high advanced skill or something.
So with that, I think if no further question, I would like on behalf of this organizing committee, I would like to say thank you very much for your time that sharing with us to this Thai traditional kind of exercise is actually helping in the mental health as well. So a lot of people didn't know. Maybe today a lot of people have learned something new. All right. Well, with that, thank you very much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your sharing. Thank you, Sarika.
Thank you for inviting me to join the conference.
Thank you. Now we are move on.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello, testing.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah. Hi, Dr. Lim. Prof. Lim, how are you?
I'm fine. It's only so I'm so sorry. The abstract if they say only giving you 10 minutes only, huh?
Yeah, okay, it's okay. Actually, I have technical problem here, but I
Ah,
try my best to present. You have my slide or you want me to present?
now you present straight away. Now you
Okay, I just share my screen.
okay. Now your
So,
slide, yeah,
I
please.
can't share my screen from here. Seems like I can't share the screen here.
Mm.
Only the host can share the screen.
I only can see your first slide, the title and your name. I think that one is from the organizer. I think the technical people.
Yep. Because I need to open my own. Okay, can I share now? Okay, wait. Wait. Can you see my screen now?
Yeah, coming.
Mm.
Are you using handphone or your laptop?
Yeah. I'm using the iPad because there's a problem over my laptop just now.
Ah,
Can you see the screen now?
yeah, I can see your screen.
Okay.
It's your desk, the laptop.
Okay. Can you see the screen now?
Yeah, can.
Okay. I think I apologize for the technical problem. Maybe I can share from this view. So very good afternoon to fellow audience, to Prof. Lim and fellow audience. I'm Dr. Faiz from University Malaya. I would like to present my slide, my study on the musculoskeletal disorders and its association with physical activity and physical fitness among hospital nurses. So, as we know, musculoskeletal disorders are very common among nurses with annual prevalence range between 40% to 95% worldwide. And the only study that was conducted in Malaysia found similarly high prevalence of MSD among hospital nurses compared to other known heavy-duty industry. Nurses are at high risk of experiencing MSDs due to their physical and psychosocial hazard exposure at the workplace. However, no similar study has been conducted in Malaysia looking at this trend on physical activity level as whole in association with MSD among nurses. The previous study on MSD among hospital nurses mainly focused only on the external factor, such as physical ergonomic, psychosocial, but less focus on the internal factor, specifically on physical fitness, which could be a protective factor. Hence, this is the aim of the study. We want to determine the association between physical activity and physical fitness with musculoskeletal disorders and among hospital nurses. So this is our study methodology. We have conducted a cross-sectional study design in one of the biggest university hospital in UMMC with a study population among registered nurses that working in UMMC with sample size of 583. And we have conducted a stratified random sampling method covering all nurses' work location. And we have used study instruments such as IPAC long version, job content questionnaire, Nordic musculoskeletal questionnaire, and we have done an objective measurement using a JAMA hydraulic hand grip dynamometer and YMCA 3-minute step test. And this is the finding of our study. Basically, we found that majority of the participants were female, below 40 years old, diploma holders, married, monthly individual income less than 4,000, and having no past medical history of musculoskeletal disease. And looking at the occupation, more than half of the participants were working at the medical-based department, which highest at the inpatient ward, ordinary grade nurse with working experience less than 10 years and working shift hours. This is the musculoskeletal disorders finding that we have found. We have found that among nurses, 86.4% of them were having complaining of musculoskeletal disorders in 1 year, and 79.1% were complaining of musculoskeletal disorders in 7 days duration. And looking at the total physical activity category, okay, we have found using the iPad, we have found that majority of them actually claim to perform a high level of physical activity with about 89.8%, which predominantly at the working occupation, occupational category. And they have reported highest met after that in the moderate and very less in the vigorous activity. And looking at the objective variable, we have conducted a hand grip muscle strength where we found that majority of them having quite high hand grip muscle strength compared to the general population. However, surprisingly, we have found that majority of them actually were low, below level cardiorespiratory fitness, despite they claim to have very high physical activity level. And we also have collected some of the confounders, such as psychosocial and also ergonomic. And as predicted, we found that in their working daily life, they actually exposed to all the physical ergonomic hazard and also psychosocial hazard. And after that, we have conducted physical activity univariate analysis, and we have found that physical activity was significantly associated with MSD, while none of the physical fitness variable was significant. Then we proceed with multivariate logistic regression analysis, and we have found that actually for physical activity, both moderate and high physical activity actually associated, where both actually can increase the prevalence of having musculoskeletal disorders among nurses in 1 year, but none has been found to be significant for 7 days. And as a key finding of our study, we have found that among nurses in Malaysia, we have found that they actually experiencing high prevalence of MSD in comparison with other nursing population in the world. And apart from that, we found that high level of physical activity predominantly in occupational domain, as I mentioned just now, where they involve in ergonomic hazard. And the third point is high household on top of occupational physical activity. As we know that the nurses, majority of them were female, they also actually bound to the responsibility as a housewife. So with the high level of physical activity at the workplace and also the high physical activity at household level, which could lead to overexertion and lack of recovery time and increase the risk of getting musculoskeletal disorders. And on top of that, low level of leisure physical activity and exercise could further contribute to factors such as deconditioning. Hence, we can see increase in BMI and also low cardiorespiratory fitness. And high BMI and low cardiorespiratory fitness, despite reported high level, highlight the importance of objective measurement in this study. The next one is moderate and high level physical activity increase the odds of developing MSD. Could be due to overexertion factor that I mentioned just now. And this actually confirmed the previous finding where they found the U-shaped relationship between physical activity and MSD. And next is a reduction in adjusted odds ratio for high level of physical activity in relation with MSD could be due to the influence of leisure among some of the participants. And past medical history of musculoskeletal disease, increase of odds of getting MSD, while supervisor support was found to be a protective factor. So the strength of this study is our objective measurement that has been used, and the limitation of the study is because of the nature of the study, which is cross-sectional, hence the temporal relationship between exposure and outcome cannot be determined. So as conclusion, in view of the influence of physical activity level at the workplace, a comprehensive workplace management and targeted intervention is needed to minimize musculoskeletal disease among nurses. Hence, we recommend a pre-employment and pre-placement examination that include objective measurements of physical activity fitness assessment in the fitness program, fitness of work program. And we also recommend a workplace management include policy on monitoring the working hour duration and job rotation for shift hour schedule, ergonomic training in handling patients to ensure they perform their job in proper biomechanic method to reduce risk of injury, a comprehensive workplace-based exercise program, weight and BMI monitoring apart from musculoskeletal symptoms screened by a doctor pre-employment or pre-placement, and last but not least, implementing employment assistance program, EAP service at the hospital. With that, I end my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Faiz, for the time given. Is only, I think next time you should be sharing in the in the more, maybe in the symposium, so they can take get more time to share with all the people. Then I think interesting to find out that it's actually let's say BMI and all that is actually related to the MSD, so that at least people today also learn something new, that it's very important to maintain exercise so that you can maintain your BMI, so that to reduce the cause of the MSD. I think this is very important. Yeah. So with that, I think on behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to take this opportunity to thank Dr. Faiz for sharing the interesting and very quick finding research and all that within 10 minutes to finish up everything.
Yeah, just last word from me.
Yeah.
We know that musculoskeletal disorders is very important for the healthcare workers.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we need to emphasize on the objective measurement. That's number one. Number two is basically we know the benefit of exercise and physical activity. But in terms of musculoskeletal disorder per se, actually the factor of overexertion and recovery time is also as important. So despite they claim that they are very active physically, but majority of their physical activity type is basically involve the ergonomic risk factor. So we need to emphasize that despite you are doing physical activity, we need to control at the workplace, but you also need to spend a bit of your time for the leisure physical activity and also exercise. That is the most important from this study.
Yeah, I think very important your finding is actually because it's on the nurse. If
Correct.
also they don't keep up your BMI and then they don't do exercise, how they going to encourage the patient to be doing exercise?
Correct. That's very important.
It's very
Very
interesting
correct.
study and all that. With that, once again, thank you very much. Thank you for your time. All right, now we are going to end this session on behalf of the organizing committee and all that. Is still, I can see that 52 participants is still around with us. I would like to say thank you very much once again to all that stay until today and until Sunday, until evening, and it's quite late evening. So that with that, I will hand it over everything to the organizing committee and the technical. And I also would like to say thank you very much to the technical people and then trying their very best to solve all the technical problem and all that. With that, thank you very much. Thank you.
Together as one, fighting for a brighter future, inspiring all the new generation. Here